Okay. So coming back, like in the introduction, I just stated like you attended the inauguration of Pune's new airport terminal, and like what have been like some of your thoughts about this new terminal? Is it as opposed to the old one? Like, will it be able to boost regional connectivity or international connectivity for the people of Pune? And on LinkedIn, you also just kind of said like it's a temporary solution. A new airport is still needed, and for years we've been waiting for the new airport in Purandar. So I just kind of like have two questions about it. Like, what do you think about the new terminal, and like why is it taking so long in Pune for them to get a major international airport? Like in Mumbai, even though like a severe scarcity of space in Mumbai, but yet they're building a new airport in Navi Mumbai as well. Lucknow also got a new terminal, I believe so, and in Noida as well, we're gonna get the Jawar International Airport. So like, what is it
Right.
about Pune, which is why is it taking so long?
So, so you touched upon my one of my favorite topic and favorite topic of interest, and also favorite topic of frustration and consternation over past so many years. So I think I'll have to give you a slightly longer answer on this one, because I'll have to set the context and a little bit of history of where we are at right now. So if you go back over 20 years, literally, in the late 90s or around 2000, and I was in the US at that time, the first discussion of a new Pune airport emerged, and that was a good thought process by the authorities at that time, because even before that, we always knew that the current airport in Pune was a temporary solution. And the reason why we say that is all of us know that the current airport in Pune is essentially a defense airfield. So obviously, the first priority of using that airbase is with the defense, and they use it extensively for a variety of their missions, including training for the Sukhois and many other objectives. So in some sense, they are doing us civilians and civilian airspace a favor by giving out few slots. So all this was fine when there were just a few flights coming out of Pune. But as the flights were increasing, and 25 years back, people had the foresight to think of it that way. Now, the tragedy in Pune is at that time, the authorities also zeroed in on a specific location for this new airport. So everyone was convinced even then that we needed a new dedicated airport. We can't rely on the defense airport. So they zeroed in on Chakan, which is about 35 kilometers from here. It's an industrial area. And they thought that would be a good space. Would have been a very good space. I mean, right near the industrial area. But and I didn't really understand it exactly what was going on. I wasn't even here at that time in India. I was in the US. And But after a few years, they realized for whatever reason that you can't do land acquisition in Chakan. So they decided to further shift it out to a place called Rajguru Nagar, which is another 5 to 10 kilometers further north of Chakan. And after a few years, you ran into the same issue there, that the land acquisition wasn't there. Now here, again, it's a very complex topic, but the two main reasons why land acquisition is difficult in India, I mean, and for that matter, anywhere in the world, one is land is very expensive. So whoever is trying to acquire land, no matter what money they try to provide, the demand from whoever is selling it, typically say the farmers, is going to be quite high, and that fundamentally makes it difficult. And second thing is, you need, especially in India, you need a very strong political will, because India is a democracy. I mean, you government can't just say, I want this land, and I'm going to remove people. We are a democracy. We can't do that. So they have a lot of the people who don't want to give up land have a lot of recourse in terms of filing cases and legal appeals and things like that. So you need strong political will, and you need strong monetary incentives to do that, and that has been lacking in Pune even now. So Pune, I mean, one of the Pune has been hugely successful in industry and in software over the last 20 years. And as a result, and of course, the Mumbai Pune belt is the most, is one of the richest industrial areas in the country, the most urban regions in the country. And as a result, it's also the most expensive land in the country. So trying to acquire anything in this, but to your counterpoint, yes, the same issue was there in Navi Mumbai, but they were still able to acquire it, right?
Yeah.
So yes, I mean, I would say the reason for Navi Mumbai being successful was because partially there were two different reasons. One is they had a stronger political will than in Pune to get it done. They were willing to pay whatever money it takes to do it. Secondly, though, the land that they acquired was partially marshes and partially, hilly land that was
Mhm.
not being used for agriculture. Some of it, I'm not saying all of it. So that made it easier as well. Whereas the land that they're trying to acquire in Pune is already being used for agriculture. So it makes it a little difficult in that sense. So that's been the issue. So these things continued till for 15 years, and fast forward to 2014-15 when the Devendra Fadnavis government came in. They finally said that, look, it's been too difficult, and I agree with them. It's been too difficult to acquire land in this Chakan Rajgurunagar corridor for over 10 years. We have talked about it. So we need to look at a new location, and they came up with this location of Purandar, which is on the opposite side of Pune. So Chakan Rajgurunagar was northwest of Pune. Purandar is southeast of Pune, the other side essentially. And they said this is a good spot, and I think I agree. It's a good spot. It's actually better that it's further away from Mumbai, because then Navi Mumbai and these two airports would have been too close in any case. And further, the geography of Purandar is good because it also makes it more easily accessible for uh, cities and districts like Satara, Solapur, and Kolhapur, which are southeast of Pune. So that was a good region, and they started making some progress. But again, they ran into the same issue that land acquisition was proving to be difficult. And then after 2019, the government changed, and again things got stuck. And the latest that we know right now is the government is again committed to acquiring this land. But unfortunately, given our track record of last 2 decades, unless it's actually done, we can't say it's done. So that's where the state of a new Pune airport is. Now, coming back to the new terminal question that you had, so in 2014-15, again, the new government at that time realized that the new airport in Pune is taking a lot of time. Meanwhile, the current airport that we have is fast running out of capacity. We have a small terminal, and as anyone who's traveled out of Pune will realize, the passenger facilities are not good. So we need at least, the least we can do is at least build a newer, bigger terminal at the current defense airport, Logav Airport. So again, that project for multiple reasons moved more slowly. It should have been done in 5 years, but it took 10 years for various reasons. Because again, we had an issue of land acquisition, but this time it was a different issue altogether. This was a land acquisition issue from the Air Force. Because remember, that entire land is actually owned by Air Force. So for civilian use, if we want to build a terminal, we again had to go back to the Air Force authorities to get that land. That took a while. But long story short, finally we have a new terminal. As you said, I went for the inauguration of this, and it will be fully operational for all passengers in about a couple of weeks. So I think, and I've seen that terminal, and it's an excellent facility. It's much better than what we have had over the past couple of decades. The current old terminal, it is world class. It is going to be comparable with some of the good airports that you see in and around India. So it's definitely going to improve the passenger experience for people traveling in and out of Pune. What the new terminal is not going to address, though, which was also one of your questions, is it's not going to fundamentally change the flights in and out of Pune, because that restriction is also dependent on how many flying slots the Air
Yeah.
Force allows civilian airlines. And today that is a controlled space, right? The Air Force allows a fixed number of slots. And one reason why Pune has a lot of these late night flights is because the daytime slots are nearly full. So, if airlines want to fly in and out of Pune, they'll have to take these late night slots, because those are the ones that are available right now. So another reason why, in spite of the new terminal will help us for the next 3 to 5 years in terms of passenger experience. But fundamentally, we desperately need the new airport, because we are soon going to run out of slots and traffic capacity. Not in terms of terminal, but in terms of how many planes can take off and land from Pune Airport. So that continues to be an issue. So this new terminal is a solution for the next few years, but can't be a solution beyond another 5 years, let's say. So
Okay.
let me pause here. I mean, this topic I can discuss at length, but as it is, I've taken up a lot of time. So let me stop here and ask. If you ask me more specific questions, I'll probably get into those.
Yeah, I mean the only thing which is kind of I sometimes talk about this with my dad and brother as well. Is like in Nagpur, like the airport is even smaller than I think in Pune, but there's still like Qatar Airways and I think Etihad do I think conduct flights from there, but
So yeah, I think that
Pune is
point, that's a good point. I mean, I think, see, one of the issues, and again, one of the issues is, you're absolutely right, is international connectivity. Places like Nagpur and few other cities as well have more international flights than Pune. And there again, the problem of Pune has been twofold. One is, there are cities like Nagpur have absolutely no other alternative. Pune, because it's the proximity to Mumbai, sometimes is an advantage and sometimes a disadvantage. Punekars have been
yeah.
used to going to Mumbai in 2.5 hours in the expressway at night. Of course, now there are issues there as well with traffic. And that is why some people say that, if we go to Mumbai, we are always going to get a much better option. I personally don't like it, but that's one reason why not a lot of new international flights have come to Pune. That's point number one. Point number two, and a much bigger and a more serious issue, is being a defense airport. Pune airport has some runway constraints and runway restrictions, length of runway being one of it. So as a result of that, we cannot handle wide-bodied planes like a 777 or a 787 or a 350 or a 340, right? We only take single-aisle planes. Now, the problem is, for a lot of these international carriers, most of their flights are double-aisle planes, mostly 777s or the Airbuses. So that is another problem. Having said that, Middle East, a lot of the Middle East airlines do operate 737s and 320s because it's just a 3 hour flight. So those are still options. But one of the reasons why international flights have been a problem for Pune, especially the people ask, why don't we have long haul flights to say Europe? And
Yeah.
it's been a runway constraint issue as well. So a combination of runway constraint issue and proximity to Mumbai has prevented us from getting more international flights.
Okay. But if, let's say, an airport comes to Purandar, do you think Pune has the potential to become like a major hub for like airline and cargo traffic like the other metro cities we have in India?
Oh, of course. I mean, it can easily be among the top five airports in the country because, let me give you a few data points, right? So Pune is already the number one engineering export destination in India. We are the top automotive and manufacturing hub in the country. And result of that, we are the number one district or region in terms of engineering exports that go to all over the world. We are also a top exporters of high-end agri produce, whether it's strawberries, whether it's figs, whether it's roses, all kinds of horticulture and agri exports. So we already have a lot of export potential. We have the top manufacturing industry base here, and we are amongst the top two or three after Bangalore and Chennai in IT services as well. So there's a huge demand for air travel, both in terms of civilian passengers as well as cargo. And if a world-class airport is built, which can support not just 2 or 4 runways to support adequate flight, but an ecosystem is built around it. In terms of logistics park, in terms of some kind of export-specific industries around it, some kind of Aerocity like thing that already exists in Delhi. It can be a very, very attractive proposition for not just Punekars, but for airlines to set it up as a hub, because
Yeah.
Delhi and Mumbai are already quite busy as hubs. And yes, Mumbai will get a new airport that'll help, but eventually, airlines in India are looking beyond Delhi and Mumbai. And today, Bangalore and Hyderabad are their top 3 and 4 choices, I guess, after these two. But I would think that along with Delhi, Mumbai, Bangalore, Hyderabad, there's no reason why Pune can't be in the top 5 if we have a good world class airport.